All right, we're gonna start all over again. Now I'm gonna invite Dreena and see if I can get this to work right. All right, sorry for the inconvenience, guys. I really need someone who knows how to do this for me. And hang on, Dreena, I'm looking for you here on my search button. Dreena Burton. Okay, and search, invite. There we go. Now let me know what you get. Okay, now am I still on? Oh my gosh, I keep getting, I don't know if you can see me or not, I can't hear you or see you. This is breaking my heart. I have just enough time for Dreena, and this thing is screwing me up. And every time I hit the screen to go away, I go away. But I don't know if you see me going away. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. I am losing my mind. There it is. Okay, I figured it out. And we're back again. I do go away. You can hear me, but you can't, but not Dreena. Okay. Dreena, are you on yet? I did send the invite while we were live. There we go. Okay. Guys, I am so sorry. I always have technical difficulties. I thought I had this down pat. We've had other guests. It worked out great. And poor Dreena, I am so excited to talk to her and to meet up with her. And then this happens. Please, please, everybody forgive me. Dreena, can you see your invite yet? Okay. Dreena, you have to be on your phone to do this, not on your computer. I don't know if that'll help you or not, but I know that's usually how that goes. It has to be on the phone. The broadcast paused. Oh, okay. I don't know if I can send you another invite or not because it'll say invited. Let me see if I can do it again. Bear with us, guys. 2 women. I think we'd be better at this. Yeah, it already says sent, so I don't think I can send it again. Okay, great. So Dreena's gonna get her phone, and then she'll come on. Yay! And we'll get to talk to her. In the meantime, let me just talk to you a little bit about her book, okay? This way I'll get this out of the way. So this is one of the books I have, and she'll tell us, I'm pretty sure she has 4 books. And you can see all of my tabs in it because I use it quite a bit. And I love these tabs. So I buy these tabs that stick on. You can peel them off and they're erasable, but it's perfect for me because then I can just see the go-to recipes I use all the time, and I can just scroll down and find my faves. I do have paper in the top because I found a couple more that I want to try, but this is a fantastic book if you're trying to get your kids started on plant-based eating. So Dreena will tell us her story, which I can't wait to hear. And I am so excited to meet her. She has been one of my plant-based idols for a while, and I really should get some of her other books, and hopefully I will. Oh! Sorry about that. Oh, here I go again. Okay, sorry about that. My tripod has I think I need a new gripper on it. It falls off sometimes. So now we have a lot of drama going on for us. Oh, I'm so sorry. And so many people are going to be watching this, and what are we up to? How many minutes did I waste? Probably 5 minutes so far of our time. Oh, I hate when that happens. You know what I'm saying? I hate when that happens. All right, I'm going to try and stick this in the thing again, but this time I'm going to try and make sure I hold it a little better. So there we go. So I'm going to keep an eye on it so it doesn't tip out. If I see it start to slide, I will catch it first. So Angela, what's your favorite recipe in that book? Do you have one specific one you use all the time? And did you guys get the recipe in the newsletter yesterday? Tuesday's newsletter had one of her recipes. I shared with one of her recipes out of that particular book. So tell me if you have one of her recipes from the book. You have the book. Oh, excellent. Thanks, Leslie, for sharing. I know you're on her group, so that really helps us out a lot. Yeah, I love the fact that Dr. Neil Barnard actually did the forward for this book. That tells you a lot. That sends out a big kudos of credibility. When you can get someone like that to do a credit for your book, that is amazing, a forward. So yeah. So the other book you're talking about is the, and The Cheese Trap. Oh, I love that book. The Cheese Trap. I have that one, but I don't recall, well, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't recall recipes. But Mac and Trees, that's cute. I like that. So yeah, I have Barnard's, a couple of his, I think I have 2 of his books. It's a big book day, isn't it? All about the books. So while we're waiting for Dreena, can anyone share any of their favorite recipes in that book? One of my favorite go-tos is the super simple 4-ingredient cashew cream. I love that. Oh, good, Leslie. Yes. Actually, Leslie, I sent that tzatziki sauce out in my Tuesday newsletter for everyone. Okay, Dreena. I'm so sorry, Dreena. We should have practiced once. We're both so busy we didn't even consider practicing. We just assumed, well, we can do this. We're good. And I guess we didn't anticipate technical difficulties, although I should know better. So she's going to try on the iPad, and then maybe we can that'll help us bring her on. And it's about 6-7 minutes after. I'm so nervous about not having enough time with her. Oh, you've tried, you like the teriyaki stir fry. Oh, that's good to know, Kelly. Thank you. Yes, very good to know. I love stir fry. I'll have to check that one out. You can't see the comments? I wonder why. I wonder if there's a way for me to fix that. Otherwise, I'll try to read them for us. But really, the comments are really good. Let me hit this and see what happens. Nope, that's not it. I hate to hit stuff. Oh, well, Dreena's watching on the iPad. Now let's see if she can get the invite on it. Oh, thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that. I certainly do. I love doing it. I love serving you guys. I love bringing you new recipes that I do, and I'm excited to be able to share this with Dreena. Oh, okay, Dreena sent a request. Approve. Yay! And it's saying adding. So we'll see if Dreena pops in. Yay, Dreena! I feel like I'm opening for someone and I'm holding up the show until the star arrives. And she's connecting. Yay! Hi, Dreena!
Hi.
Dreena, I have to tell you, I am so excited. You are like a superstar in my book. I am thrilled to have you on. So well, I'm not taking a lot of my time.
You know what? I'm surprised I can't do it on the laptop. I didn't realize that. So that's, but here we are. We made it.
Are you on the iPad?
Yeah.
Oh, good to know. Okay. I thought I could only do this on. Excellent. And I love this split screen. That's really.
That's never happened before. Yeah, that's good.
No. Good. So, Dreena, I'm going to let you take it from here. Tell everybody how you got started. I know it was 1995 when you became a vegan. So give us your story and your background.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Like we started, first, thank you for having me on, and nice to see you in person after our exchanges. It was in my teen years, I decided, I had read a couple of things and decided I wanted to eliminate meat from my diet, but it was red meat, because those were the days where, well, I'm still to some respect now, you know, red meat was the bad meat. And in those years, I was not very choosy though, like red meat very much meant red meat to me. And then through the years, I learned a little bit more, read some books. I eventually came to Diet for New America. By John
yeah.
And another book which was called Fit for Life way back when, which is all about food combining, and I'm not into food combining, but there were principles there. about eating meat and dairy and how it's not very digestible. And that rang very true to me because I was then in my 20s in university, and my body just didn't feel good. And in my 20s, I thought, like, if I'm not feeling good now, what's it going to be like later in life? Like, my joints were very uncomfortable and swollen and felt painful. I often, my digestion was just really heavy. I would eat and I just felt really logy and tired and lethargic for hours after. And, constipation and just a lot of just digestive discomforts. And so I started to read more and I guess, self-explore and start cutting out more and more meat. And I did. And then eventually dairy and eggs. And dairy was very last because that was the one, of course, I think all of us sort of see like, okay, yeah, it makes sense to not eat an animal, but dairy is that like final frontier, I think, for most of us that we're so trained to think that it's essential for us. And once we realize it is not, and it's quite the opposite, then we can, eat so much better. And I didn't eat vegetarian for too long. I ate vegetarian for maybe a year or two and then moved into vegan. And then was it in the late 1990s, my husband's father had a heart attack, and his cardiologist back east in Newfoundland, and I don't know if you know where that is, but it's right in the Atlantic Ocean, like it's way over on the east side of Canada, and it's a small like town that we lived in, and vegan vegetarian was not at all known. It was just very obscure. But his cardiologist recommended he follow a plant-based diet. So that was over 20 years ago. It was unknown to even hear. Like, I'm still shocked to this day that he recommended that. So they came to us and said, what do we do? And there were, I think at the time, maybe 2 vegan cookbooks on the market. Like, that's what it was. And now, of course, there's probably thousands or more. There's so many.
Oh, yeah.
And I started just recording my recipes and started putting, pen to paper. We moved out west to British Columbia, and I said, I just feel it. I feel like this is what I want to do now. I've been working in a corporate environment, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And because his parents needed help, that's very much the kind of recipes I started to develop, were more like low-fat, whole grain, wholesome recipes. And that's not where the vegan market began back then. It more began in a very, I'd say, like indulgent, decadent way. And my recipes were always more in the whole foods arena, though not necessarily all oil-free at the time, but very lower in oil and fat. So yeah, that was my first book. I have it here. And it's funny because it looks really, that's our veggie man. And he looks very, we did this on the floor of the studio. What do I have on here? A sticker. And we laid it all out with cabbage leaves and the leeks and garlic. And it was so fun to do. But this was the sort of the era of vegan then. It was much more fringe. But this is where I started. And that was published in 2001. And so then I've done 4 more books since then. And then the books with Dr. Barnard.
Nice. That's awesome. So that means that you raised your children from the beginning on a plant-based diet.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that's wonderful. And do the kids really get into it? Do they ever question you about a hot dog or any other things when you're out and you see, that junk food out there?
I know. I thought they might. And I anticipated that they might. They don't. And we do give them the vegan substitutes. Like I buy the veggie dogs sometimes and we eat those, not like every week, but we do. And we get vegan pizza and order vegan pizza. And so they don't have the opportunity to feel left out from food because all of these options are there for them. And I make sure that, we enjoy a lot of the treats that their friends enjoy. But they're connected to it. And that's the difference, is they've been connected from a young age. And also they see all components, like they see that it's good for their bodies. My kids are extremely healthy, and I'm not saying they never get colds. All kids get colds, but they don't get taken down by something very easily or for very long. So, they've all been through school this year without missing. I don't think they've missed any school this year. They've just been, their immune systems are robust.
Excellent.
So they're connected from health, and then they also see the animal side of things, and they do
Hmm.
projects in school about the environment. So they get connected more and more as they get older. And
Good.
now, so our girls are now 17, 13, and 9, and they all love it. I have to say, they don't say, Mom, I'd really like to try a chicken nugget.
Yeah.
One of them said the other day, because I bought some for them to try and some vegan ones, and they said, is this what a chicken nugget tastes like? And I said, well, I guess it's been a while since I've had them too. I said, I actually think they
Yeah.
probably taste better than what
Yeah.
a standard
Yeah.
chicken nugget tastes like, but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. So out of all your books, and I know this is going to be hard, it's like saying who's your favorite child, but
Right.
which book do you feel is your favorite book?
It is hard. I love plant-powered families for a number of reasons. One, because it has photos for every recipe, and this is my only book that does have photos for every recipe. And Nicole Axworthy was my photographer, and I love that woman. She just does the most beautiful photography. She works with me on my ebooks too. So
Nice.
we just pair really well, and she's so wonderful. Plus, beyond the recipes, it has all these sections on, the questions that parents were giving me for years or sending to me for years, like, I'm going to a birthday party, what do I do? Or I'm going to have a birthday party, what do I do for my kids? And, I have picky eaters. How do you get around that? Or what do I pack for school lunches? You can't send nuts. And so I included
Point.
chapters on those. So
Good.
there's more than just the recipes. That was really the heart of the book to me, was putting that information in
Yeah.
there. But a lot of my readers love the Let Them Eat Vegan, because it has over 200 recipes, and they're really kind of unique and different, and
Oh, good.
it's not geared to kids per se, but they're
Yeah.
still family friendly.
Mhm.
So it's hard. Every book came with its story, you know what I mean, on different
Sure.
stages of my life. And the
Yeah.
recipes I've done for the diabetes cookbook with Dr. Bernard,
Hmm.
I use these recipes now a lot. They're easy, they're quick, they're all
Oh,
really
okay.
wholesome, they're
I'll
all
have to
oil
look for that one.
free. Yeah, and they're not fully photographed, but there is an insert with some photos. I pulled out the books last minute just to show a few things. So all the recipes were developed for people with type 2 diabetes.
Excellent.
Yeah, to help
Yeah, I'll
prevent.
definitely have to look into getting that book because I do have clients that could use those recipes. So that would be awesome to share.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
I think anyone could enjoy the recipes. It's not you have
good.
like I really
Yeah.
feel like they're just everyday recipes. So
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. I always try to find recipes that I can make when I have the family over
yeah.
because my children are grown. They're in their 30s. They don't do plant-based. They think mom's on another, there she goes again trying something else. I've been doing it for
Yeah.
years, but they still don't get it. So, yeah, I will definitely look into that book. Your Plant-Powered Families, though, is my favorite. I was showing everybody I have tabs all over the place. It's really
Thank you.
good. So I want to ask our audience if anyone has any questions they have for Dreena. Can you see can you
I
see
can.
it?
I'm not sure if I can see the history though. Oh, yes, I'm just going to look down here.
Okay. Yeah, just check and see if anyone had any questions for you.
Lovely comments. Thank you so much, guys. It's really. Oh, and thank you, the cheese trap. Thank you. I'm glad you love the mac and cheese.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. I have the Cheese Trap, but I haven't finished reading it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I've had fun developing the recipes for the cheese trap and diabetes. They were very different recipes to develop, because for the cheese trap, we were gearing for cheese-based recipes and family favorites that include cheese, so they could be higher fat,
Yeah.
using lots of nuts and even
Right.
coconut products, and no oils, but lots of
Good.
fatty textures to bring that
Mhm.
cheesy texture, flavor, element to the meal. But then for
Yeah.
the diabetes, it was quite the reverse. It had to be lower fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's good. I really enjoy that. I like the fact that you stay true to no oil, and that's so important. People don't realize the importance of no oil. I still have people telling me how oil is good for you,
Yeah.
and I have to, of course, disagree. I disagree nicely, of course, and I
Yeah.
just my pat answer for every time I hear that is sure, it's 100% fat with no nutritional value. So that's
Yeah.
it. That's all I ever say. So here we have a question from Denise. My 18-year-old daughter is vegetarian, but doesn't like many vegetables. How can I get her to make the switch to vegan? That's a
Yeah,
good.
that is a good question. And, you know, I've seen my own kids kind of grow in their acceptance of vegetables. So when they were, like my daughter who's 17 now, she loves vegetables, but again, she kind of grew up on it. And I think when you're vegetarian, it's easy to rely on cheese and eggs to kind of work into vegetables so that there's lots of flavor and fat there and you're not really tasting the vegetables. But what I might suggest is see if you can have her pick out a recipe. Not even so, no, I mean, she can get involved in the cooking as well. But sometimes, if they just browse a cookbook and see something that they like, and ask her what looks appealing to you, and what vegetable might you try, because then she's a little more invested in trying it. And you know, sometimes. You know yourself with kids, they don't all like the same vegetable, they don't all like the same fruit, but there's usually something that they do like. You know, one of my daughters really likes green beans, another likes asparagus, but the other doesn't like it. And you know, you're always kind of trying to find what it is. So if you can find something that she looks at a photo and says, "Yeah, that looks good. I'd try that." And then you can maybe play with the vegetables. So if she doesn't really like broccoli, see if she might want cauliflower in there because they're usually pretty interchangeable, or zucchini, or just kind of see. And also ask her what flavor ingredients she likes. Again, like my eldest loves the sort of Greek flavors with olives and red wine vinegar and all those herbs. Like she really loves that kind of thing. My middle girl wants no part of it. So if she likes something that would have all those flavors, maybe do a Greek salad for her. And I have a tofu feta and also a soy-free feta. And then you could work that into the salad or put it in a wrap or something like that. Something that the flavors are interesting for her, but make it more her style. Maybe she likes a
And
wrap.
subtle.
She likes noodles, you know?
Yeah. And subtle. Bring it in. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Really. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And Leslie has a question for you. What age would you say is optimum for kids to start helping creating healthy meals in the kitchen? That's a good one for you because you've had this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as soon as they're interested, really, I think if they're showing interest, let them come on in at what things they can help with at the time. When they're really little, they can just stir batter, you know, or I do the chickpea nibbles a lot with our little ones when they were smaller because it's really just mixing chickpeas with some marinade, and they're not going to get hurt with anything in the kitchen doing that. So and that can be a small step, and then they go play and you put it in the oven and that kind of thing. So as soon as they show interest, really, and then they may grow in that, they may not, but if they're getting involved, then yeah, you'll see.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I always tried to incorporate, even when I was eating a sad diet.
Yeah.
I always loved to cook, and my son always wanted to help me. My daughter, not so much, but my son did. So we always pulled a chair up, and like you said, he'd use the mixer, he'd hold the mixer. Of course, at
Yeah.
that time, I didn't have a stand mixer, and of course, you pick it up and like But yeah, so that is a great way to get them to introduce to like to cook. I like that. Oh, Leslie liked the chickpea as a great example. So she said
Yeah. Oh, great.
that's one she'll probably use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then there's
really
different
good.
flavors you can add in, and they usually like making cookies or something too, or muffins, because they can scoop in the batter or mix it, or you know, who doesn't like to lick the bowl? So then they're
Now,
invested.
I do have a question for you myself, thinking of sweets. I believe I saw in one of your recipes, and I could be wrong, I'm hoping it was yours, that you used coconut butter, but it's not coconut oil.
Hmm. Hmm.
Was
Yeah.
that one of yours?
Yeah, probably because I haven't always cooked oil free, but in the last, say, 5 years or more, I have been. And coconut butter, again, if people have certain health conditions, it's not a food they will be able to eat. Like if you're trying to reverse heart disease or diabetes, it's probably not going to be in your recipe repertoire at all, or in a very, very small amount because it is high in saturated fat. But it's a whole foods product. So it's like taking the coconut and you can make it at home. If you have shredded coconut, you can
Oh, okay. Yes.
put it in the food
That makes,
processor or blend, and
okay.
it becomes a butter. But it's heavy
Yeah.
and thick and dense, and it's fatty. But it works in recipes where you need that fat content, like
Okay.
a cookie or even a pie crust or something like
Hmm.
that. So
Yeah.
that's why it's used a lot in baking. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Because I do like making everything from scratch. I do
Yeah.
my milks from scratch. I do, and that would be something else. I don't want to make it for me because I would eat it all and that would be the end of that. That would not be a good thing to have a big batch of eat all the cookies before everybody got here. But
Yeah.
that's good to know. That's really good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually have if you do have Planned Parenthood Families, so there's a small section on DIY in there. So it's in there with
Oh, good.
um, some nut butters. Yeah, so you could
Excellent.
just check it
Yeah.
out. It's easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I always make my nut butters. I love making applesauce by just flopping that apple right in the Vitamix with some cinnamon and nutmeg. Bam, done. So
Nice, good idea.
yeah, yeah. When I have a recipe that calls for, I almost always have an apple or two in the fridge. If I have a recipe that calls for applesauce, I just throw that apple in in there. I take the seeds out, leave the
Yeah,
skins, throw it in the Vitamix, and whatever. If I need a half a cup, I'll eat the other half while I'm cooking.
that's a great idea
So
because
pretty good.
I've made applesauce in the Instant Pot, but I've never thought of just doing it raw, and that's a perfect idea for, a lot of times you don't have that in the cupboard. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And raw is delicious because especially with a Vitamix, it pulverizes it like crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't see any need for cooking that anymore.
Yeah.
I have to try it and see what I think.
Yeah.
So Karen says, my 3-year-old grandson loves to make salad. He tears all the lettuce. So that's a great start. That's a really good idea. That gets them involved. So
Totally.
his dog barked and now my
Sorry.
dog heard it.
Oh,
So,
there we go. We're a chain reaction here. We just adopted a cat too, so the dog's like all frantic. He doesn't know what's going on with his world.
so
But
Kelly has a question. Do
mm,
you have an opinion on kids and diversifying their diets? My 3.5 has a tendency to ask for the same foods a lot. Like the last 2 weeks, he asked for your banana bliss pancakes every, I have to hit see more, I think, to get every morning.
I mean, at 3.5, they're going to grow out of it. They are. I mean, sometimes I think we stress about this as parents a lot, and he's eating good food. If he's eating good food, I'd say just roll with it rather than make a big deal of it. I mean, if he's 9 or 10 and still only wanting to eat one food, then you're going to have to work on it a bit. But they really do grow out of it. And sometimes, I mean, I've seen with my kids, they love something for like a month or maybe a year, and then all of a sudden they're just moving on to something else. And so, I mean, one thing that you can do with kids, so I talk about this in Planned Parenthood Families. So if they do like something in particular, like if they really love avocado and you want to get them to eat something that they're not eating, and it's a good part of their diet, like beans, then make an avocado hummus, right? So make puree chickpeas with a lot of avocado, so or white beans, so that it tastes like avocado or guacamole to them, but then they're getting the protein from the beans, that kind of thing. Or if they're not eating rice or some particular food you want them to really start to accept in their diet, make a sauce with avocado so they can have it in pasta or on rice, or mash it with things, and then they'll be a little more willing to try it. So I talk about that a little bit. Work with the foods they love to introduce new foods, and just find a way to kind of repurpose it or reinvent what they're eating. But I mean, in terms of like a breakfast, if he's loving that um,
Banana
recipe of
pancakes.
eggs, yeah, go with it. Maybe try
Go with
throwing
it. Yeah.
berries in there in the morning or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you ever find yourself, well, here's a question. This is what I always kind of preach about is batch cooking. Do you batch cook? Because I know you have a very busy schedule. Are you big on batch cooking as well?
I love batch cooking. I wish I could do it a little more than I do, actually. I've got to get in the habit of even doing it more because right now, yeah, things are just a little frantic. Once I think, eldest gets her license and can take herself places and maybe help with some of the other two, it will make a little bit more sense to me in our household. But right now it is very, like, we're all over the place. But batch cooking is very useful, especially for things like bean dishes, soups, stews, anything that you can make a big quantity of if you're cooking beans at home, rice,
Yeah.
even food prep. Like when I'm soaking nuts for a recipe like a cashew cheese, I'm not going to soak a cup. I'm going to soak a whole bag, get the big thing soaked, drain them off, refrigerate some if I want to use them right away, because they can last about 4 days in the fridge, 5 days. If not, then they can go in the freezer and you can freeze them that way. Hummus, I never make one batch of hummus. I make like a triple, quadruple batch. I've got a 16-cup processor. People ask all the time, they say, you can freeze hummus. And I'm like, yes, I wouldn't be able to survive if we couldn't freeze hummus, because that's a real staple for us, for the kids. They love it. And it's so much cheaper to make hummus, and it tastes better. But anyhow, so you do a big batch, freeze it in portions, take it out in the morning, or let it sit in a hot water bath in the container, and then it thaws really quickly. So things like that: cashew cheese, hummus, muffins, energy cookies, bean dishes, stews, soups, things that will freeze well and thaw well. I find grain dishes don't thaw as well. Like rice changes its texture when you thaw it.
Yeah.
But beans are like, they're so easy to work with in that
Good.
regard. So as much as you can. Yeah.
Leslie wants to know, what is your favorite hummus recipe?
Oh, that's hard. Lately I've been returning to the basic a lot. Like I did a lot of different flavors. In Eat, Drink, and Be Vegan, I have a hummus chapter in this one with all different variations. And lately I've been going to the classic a lot, something about just the classic hummus, and I use sumac in it, which has it's a Middle Eastern spice that has a lemony essence. So it looks like paprika, but it has a lemony essence. And sometimes if you get hummus in like a Lebanese restaurant, that's what they're using in it. And I've been using that. And I bought some truffle salts, and the essence of truffle oil. You can get salts with truffle.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm going to look into that, because I do this truffle oil.
Yes.
And that truffle salt would be great on potato wedges, because I used to do,
it's
great
insanely
idea.
good. If I can jump up, I'll get you the brand.
Oh, okay. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love that. So I'm trying to think if I had another question. So I see we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left, so I don't want to hold you up. I did have a question. When you do that hummus, since you're big on hummus, what do your girls and what does your family dip besides vegetables in it? Or do you just use raw vegetables for your hummus?
No, I use hummus in sandwiches and wraps for them for school. Sometimes I layer it on pizza, like I'll do a tortilla pizza or even a pizza shell, put it on that. The
Do you do
kids
chips at all?
They like tortilla chips. I'm not a chip person. I have a sweet tooth. So when I want to get into something, it's ice cream or something like that. They will use tortilla chips or rice crackers or something. But sometimes too, they'll just have potatoes, dip potato wedges or
yeah. It's a good idea.
We have potatoes in the fridge, because sometimes I'll bake a lot of, that's another thing I batch cook is spuds, baked potatoes. And sweet potatoes, and then they're in the refrigerator. You can reheat them.
And so, they're good as cold as snacks, too. They're good cold as snacks. Potatoes, I love a cold sweet potato, Japanese potato, or even a red skin potato for a snack. They're sweet to me now.
It's interesting, because there's inherent sweetness in foods that we miss until we get the artificially sweetened food or highly sweetened foods out of it. And then when we return, our taste buds will adjust, and we'll taste a red or yellow potato and go, yeah, I see that has a sweetness, and you don't need to add butter or cream or anything. But so here are the truffle. Oh, good. There's probably other brands, but this is the one that I found. Is that backwards to you? So
it is, but I think when we run the video, when we replay, it'll be forwards.
Okay. Sure. So the name is Sabatino Tartufi, and I saw this on a show during Christmas, and I said, I have to order them. And there was a pack of 3 salts, truffle and parsley, and there's one with rosemary. So it's basically truffle seasoning, and you open it and the seasoning, the smell is intoxicating. So if you like truffle oil and you miss it, because I did, sprinkling this on potatoes or in hummus, it's heaven. Cashew cheese.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to let you go. I know you have to run off to a school function, and I want to thank you so much for being here. It's just so exciting to be able to have this chat and meet you. I love when I get to meet one of my superstars in person, and this was as close as we're going to get, and it's fantastic.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad we figured it out. It was more my end than your end. I didn't realize I couldn't use my laptop. So
I know that's so disappointing. I've always wanted to use it.
Yeah.
Oh, Angela wanted to know, where did you order that from? That salt trio. You think Amazon would have it?
I think they would. It was an online thing that I saw during, you know, they run all these Christmas like
the ads
things, and I had to impulse have it, but I'm glad I did because I would order it again and again. Yeah.
Okay. That'll be on our list next. Me and my followers. We'll be.
You'll have a
Dreena,
truffle thread.
do you have any questions for us?
No, I'm just, you know, I'm happy to continue the chat after we talk. If people want to add some questions in the group, I'll come back after and answer some if you want.
Yeah, that's great, because you know what? I don't know how many people we've actually had on live with us, because my phone, I don't think is always accurate. But I will tell you that we probably, by midnight tonight, we'll probably have a few hundred views, and there will be more questions for you, I'm sure.
Okay.
So
yeah,
everyone, if you are watching this not live and you have questions, please go ahead and post them. And when Dreena has the opportunity, she will reach out and answer your questions for you.
Okay, everyone have a lovely day. Thanks for having me.
You too. Thanks so much, Dreena.
We'll
Appreciate your time.
Okay,
bye now.